This is DAF Struttura. We're inside the space of Artissima Experimental Academy. I think it's the first year it will be an academy, and the idea came from Ilaria. She wanted to strengthen the artistic side of the fair and actually have some kind of work being made at the same time, and also have an educational aspect that would not replace the talks but really deepen what happens during the discursive part of any fair. And I think it's a great idea. She invited me, and I in turn, the invitation was to invite an experimental school. I invited one of the most interesting musicians, I think, of the last 30 years. And
he just left. Yeah, but I'm here, I can replace.
So Jan St. Werner, and he in turn decided to invite an academy class that he teaches in Nuremberg called DAF, and it means Dynamic Acoustic Research. And the students of this class have become like a collective, and they really, with Jan, conceived what the structure would look like, what this environment would be, and they really built it themselves, and have been here for for a few days constructing the Struttura. And Jan also very generously invited other people into the Struttura to teach. Marc will focus on sound and text, and maybe radio. Yael, Solomonowitz focus on gesture and sound and performance, and how to stage the kind of creations that come up during this time. And he also invited artists who've prepared lights as instruments, robots that are instruments. There are very few traditional instruments here. It's more as if the whole fair, the architecture, the space has become the instrument of what this collective does.
It's actually very nice. It started with the Italian futurists, and they bundled this ball of energy, and then Ilaria got hit by it and forwarded some energy into Zasha, and then Zasha triggered me, and I brought my students from the academy in Nuremberg, a very productive group of people, and we have 25 applicants from Italy and international. And again, the students continue triggering this energy, and these applicants again will trigger energy. So it's a very beautiful metaphor for sound, because it's contraction and expansion. It's really like this. Sound is like constantly molecules being put together, expanding, triggering the next. And a sound wave is really exactly this. It's not one particle traveling all the way. It's really one thing triggering the next thing, triggering the next thing. So I think in that way, it's very nice to be this. For me, as a sound affiliated person, it's a beautiful environment. So what we do is we really think about sound, we produce sound, we look at it from different perspectives, and understand it as actually a nearly sculptural format, something that is a non-material, multidimensional, nearly object-like phenomenon. It's partly in our brains, it's an imagination, it's sometimes even a hallucination. It's a physical reality, it's the air molecules expanding and constructing. And it's also a cultural phenomenon. What do we call music? What is sound? When does noise become music? What is sound in general? What does language mean? How do we think about sound? How do we translate it? How do we record it? How do we distribute it? Can we own it? It's especially interesting in the context of an art fair, which to me was very interesting. How do we deal with like a situation where objects and manifestations of ideas really have a value, a very explicit economic value, and sound in music is nearly in opposition to this. You know, no one really owns any music. You can own a record, you can own rights, but still, you know. So I think that tension is very interesting, and I also like that this is somehow an anarchic format you could place in many different contexts. You could have it in a parliament, you could have it at an art fair, you could have it in a bus station, you can have it in an academy, and this is what an academy should be like. People coming together, sharing, exchanging knowledge, creating new knowledge, reconsidering old knowledge, meeting and talking and having a space where people actually meet. I think this is a beautiful and very valuable opportunity, because space has become very, very expensive. And especially now, since we meet each other in cyberspace and we get information in all forms of digital data flows, it's just meeting and looking at each other and listening together and creating together is a very it's a gift, and I'm glad we have this opportunity.